We are talking with GOP hopefuls making cases for their individual plans to handle the corporate tax code during presidential debate. Listen to this.
On the business side, I've got a business flat tax of 16%. Again, that applies across the board.
Corporate rate of 20%, which puts us 5% below that of China, and allows us full expensing of investing. It would create an explosion of investment back into this country, creating higher wage jobs. And so that's part of it.
And joining us right now in Palm Springs is EY U.S. Chairman and America's Managing Partner, Steve Howe. Steve, thanks so much for having us at this conference.
Thank you, Maria. And let me start with congratulations. I've heard the others, but you really delivered the network and the debate. We moved from form to substance. Thank you. Lots of people out here saying thanks.
I really appreciate you saying that. So when you talk about smaller, mid-cap companies, you've got so many entrepreneurs here, and that's why we're here, because we know that there's a lot of growth happening right here. At this EY conference. Do you think that, the same question that I asked Jennifer Horn, is that the way to get to economic growth? Lower regulations, lower taxes. What's your take?
You're talking about the right issues. Lower regulation, lower tax. We need tax reform. I think focus on immigration, wage, all the right subjects. This conference is about accelerating growth. We are in our 9th year of our Strategic Growth Forum, and it culminates in our 29th year of celebrating entrepreneurs. That's what they're talking about out here.
And the tax plans, Cheryl, varied. You know, we were able to distinguish the tax plans when you look at Rand Paul with the 14.5% flat tax, or Ted Cruz with a 10% income tax and a 16% business tax. That was really, they all have their own tax plans, but getting there is quite different.
Well, look, if the tax code was so easy to fix, Maria, we would have done it 20 years ago. And every candidate, every presidential candidate, every congressman comes out with their ideas about how to fix the tax code, whether it's on the corporate side or the personal income side, and it never comes to fruition. Eric Cantor was here yesterday. You spoke with him from Milwaukee, and he was saying, look, this is such a complicated issue. There's no way that we can go in and come to fruition any of these very simplistic ideas, whether it's let's get rid of the IRS or let's have a flat tax and nothing else. It's great in a campaign speech, Maria, but making this happen is a completely different ballgame.
Well, you also have to look, Steve, at the fact that you didn't necessarily have a willing partner in terms of tax reform. But why has it been so difficult, do you think?
This is hard. You hear the substance of this and all the details. Where will we go on deductions? What about individual rates and corporate rates as well? The key is it's now elevated on the agenda.
Right.
For 8 years, we've been saying we need tax reform, but it's not going to happen. Well, you know what? Now you're listening to all these candidates saying it is going to happen.
Well, you guys are experts on tax reform here at EY. I want to ask you about that, because when you look at all the plans that were presented, they're expensive. They cost between $2 trillion and $12 trillion, depending on which plan you look at. Does that make sense to you, that it's going to cost all those trillions over a decade? First, we're going to have to swallow the fact that we're cutting taxes so much in order to get growth on the other side. Does that make sense to you?
It does, and what's going to have to happen now, details will emerge. The number crunches will be out there. The other side of this is what will it do to the economy? What will it do to jobs? How are we going to create growth? There's a revenue component there as well, so that'll get fleshed out.
And when you look at where we are in terms of the global economy today, I mean, you're a global business. Compare for us U.S., Asia, Europe.
Hugely anti-competitive for us. So our economy is going relatively well globally. How much better it could be. Our rate is way too high, 39% compared to an average of 25% for others. And we tax worldwide versus a territorial system. These things need to change. American businesses absolutely need this change.
Do you see anything changing in terms of the economic growth story in the U.S.? We did have a good jobs number last month.
Yeah, I mean, we still feel pretty good about how things are going. The jobs number was good. I think the push for less regulation will be another factor as well. But despite these things, the U.S. is standing tall globally and continuing to drive pretty good growth.
And real quick on the EY, big event Saturday night. You've got the Entrepreneur of the Year award, right? But you've got all these sectors, different sectors, regional winners already.
Yes, so this is independently judged. We host this forum. It's going to be great to see the best entrepreneurs in America in 10 different sectors, and it's going to be a great celebration.
Steve, great to have you on the program, and thanks so much for hosting us here this week.
Just a delight to have you here.
Good to see you. Steve Howe from EY.